The Western Cape University has suspended its student for allegedly stabbing a Cape Peninsula University of Technology student. In a video circulating on social media, the 26-year-old victim can be seen lying down in a pool of blood at CPUT residence. The 30-year-old suspect is said to be her partner. For more on this, let's speak now to Interventions Team Supervisor at Tears Foundation, Kavya Swaminathan. Thank you very much, Kavya, for your time here on eNCA. Just firstly, this incident, broad daylight, there are students seen trying to stop the suspect from continuing to stab this woman, etc. This also just shows, in terms of society as a whole, our moral compass is basically just in disarray.
Absolutely. I think it says a lot about how we view gender-based violence, sexual assault, and just the state of violence in the country at the moment. It's honestly really disturbing. We talk about desensitization to what we see around us and how we cope with it. And I think this is just a prime example. We have normalized violence to a point where people literally just turn the other way or are more likely to take our camera and video it.
So what do you suggest should be happening now going forward, especially for those students at the university, maybe some counseling for them as well, especially those ones who are trying to assist this young lady?
Of course. So as a nation itself, we're very trauma focused. As a country, we have dealt with a lot of trauma. We live in a very violent society, and counseling and talking about experiences is the best way, and really destigmatizing the idea around that. I mean, what happened was awful. Whether you saw it, whether you heard it, anything can trigger you. So just dealing with that is really important.
And I mean, Kavya, there was a lot of people on social media. Of course, people will react in many different ways, especially when you've never gone through something like that or have never seen it. You always are opinionated, and that's okay. But, for those who are saying, how can three men not be able to stop one man with a knife from continuing to stab a person, etc.? Is that a fair, analysis of the guys who were trying to help her?
I think there's a lot going through someone's head when they witness something like that. It's very easy to make judgment calls when you're not in that situation. I mean, you see a guy, whether he's bigger or smaller than you, with a knife, that's someone with a weapon. There's a lot of factors that go into that. I mean, a statement can be made if we should be doing more for the people in our community and for the people that we see. I think the situation in our country has led us to be very distrustful for those around you. I mean, I think we all second guess if someone were to walk up to us while we're putting groceries in the car or something like that. We are very distrustful. But that being said, there's also a reason to be. So I think there is a lot of self-preservation in what they're doing. They're being cautious. There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I mean, you can take it however you want.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we always say men, please assist. And in that video, I was seeing them try to, but obviously run away as soon as he tries to threaten them wielding that knife. I mean, some of them were saying if he could stab the mother of his child like that, imagine you as a stranger. But let's go back to our moral compass as a country, right? Of course, we've seen this stabbing, and in 1 week we saw another stabbing happen, at Sibanye Stillwater. Is it also the dwindling of police work and the justice system, where people feel as though, look, in this country I can do whatever I want, all I'll get is jail time, and then I'll get out after behaving well inside prison?
I think that does play a part in it. People have lost faith in both our judicial system and the policing system. And that's not to throw everyone under the bus. I mean, there are police officers who do great jobs and prosecutors who are trying their hardest. But overall, we can't overlook the fact that there are clear gaps in our system, whether it's coming all the way down from government or it's just like in our communities, that needs to be addressed. And when you mention just getting a slap on the wrist or just getting a jail sentence, that is so true. We're always looking at better reform when it comes to sentencing, when it comes to gender-based violence, because so many people don't even think they're fair punishments for sexual assault or rape. And it's true, people barely get to court, let alone convicted. So I think faith does need to be restored, and better legislation and better enforcement of legislation, I should say, is a way to start.
And of course, students also retaliated by, taking the law into their own hands. That also talks about trust deficit, where the students probably thought, well, maybe let's try and give him a hiding before police get here because, they probably don't trust that police will do anything or do enough.
And that's, I think, yeah, and I think that's the biggest statement. I mean, if you can't trust your police to get there on time or to actually take effective actions, I mean, that is what like people will resort to, and that just perpetuates a cycle of violence, where just violence is becoming violence, and that's not an answer or solution, and definitely not a sustainable one.
Kavya, what do you think about the age of technology and how, everything is under a camera light, whether it be a cell phone or, it looks like cell phone cameras have taken the job of CCTV, right? Especially in incidents such as this. A good thing because maybe, it gives evidence, clear evidence for the case to move forward. A bad thing because you're taking a video instead of assisting. What do you think?
I think it's a bit of both. It's great that people can record, and for some reason, like as soon as there are videos and stuff like that, you have like cancel and call out culture. You have something for people to rally behind, which is great because people can be somewhat held accountable because the internet is forever. However, I think it also creates some level of distance when someone's first instinct when they see something happening is to pull out their phone. And yes, it's evidence capturing or whatever, but you're also putting distance not only for the person who needs help, but you're kind of almost distancing yourself from the situation. When we see things through a screen, we're almost conditioned to feel like it's not real. It's just something that's happening somewhere else in another world. So stuff like that. So I think it is protective. There is, I think, boundaries and lines that I think people cross that we have to be mindful of. Like, it's one thing to take a photo of a wreckage of an accident on your way because you want to show someone versus refusing to do anything or standing in the way and making it worse. So stuff like that.
Thank you so much for your time and for speaking to us. Hopefully the victim is recovering well in hospital. We did find out during the course of the weekend that she in fact is fighting for her life because he did stab her a couple of times, and I'm not sure if the video actually shows us how many. Hopefully she does come out of it alive. That was Kavya Swaminathan from the Tears Foundation.